Hi, James Farr here. I'm live at the NAACP 100th year celebration. I'm going to be talking with you a little bit more with some of the honorees tonight, some of the guests that are visiting tonight. So sit back, enjoy this historic event. With the man of the hour, the current president of the NAACP Pasadena branch, Mr. Alan Edson. Alan, we're finally here.
At this moment in time, I'm at ease. We did a lot of planning to put this together. It's nice to see that it's manifested into what it is. And so tonight's really about having a good time.
Mayor Tornick, thank you. How does it feel being here?
Oh, this is great. For any organization to be able to maintain a presence for 100 years is really an achievement. And this particular organization has been central to the evolution of Pasadena. And one of the awardees tonight is my son's student at Marshall.
Jordan.
Yes.
Yeah, excellent young man. I actually had him on the show.
My son is his teacher
okay.
At Marshall High School. And so apart from the organizational dynamic of this, there's a personal connection to what's happening here tonight.
I feel as though this organization will grow with the great, bright minds of tomorrow, and the amount of excellence that I see in the streets amongst my peers and throughout my school especially, I can tell that the future is very hopeful.
So I'm here with Supervisor Catherine Barger, and she is also in her district office as one of the sponsors of tonight's event. Supervisor Barger, thank you so much for being here. What does it mean to be at this event?
Well, for me, it means really a celebration of 100 years, the NAACP, but also a celebration of the community to see what they've done. And arguably, many people are here because of the work that they've done, especially when they focus on education, and they continue to give back in the community. And I am so proud to be here today.
I think without collaboration, it's hard to get anything done, particularly in a diverse community like Pasadena. I also think the underlying values of collaboration are that people work together because they recognize one another as valuable human beings. And there are a lot of differences among people, the difference in background, race, culture, religion, etc. But underneath, we're all humans, we're all children of God. And as such, we should work together to achieve what needs to be done here in our community.
There were some trailblazers, and I'm only standing up on the shoulders of those persons who really blazed the trail for me. Some didn't do as well as some of the others did, but we all did the very best that we possibly could to make the organization remain vibrant here for 100 years on tonight.
I'm here with Laura Farber, who is the president of the Tournament of Roses and this year's upcoming celebration. Well, next year, technically, it's on January 1, and hope is the theme for this year. Laura, you're being honored tonight. What does it mean being honored here by the NAACP?
This means a lot, not only to me, but to our organization, because we have finally begun to reflect our community, not only in our membership, but in our leadership, and we've done it organically. And I'm so proud of that. I'm proud to be the first Latina in this position. I'm proud of what our organization has accomplished and will continue to accomplish, because once those doors open, as far as I'm concerned, they don't shut.
This has been one of the foundations for our community long before I was born, and it'll probably be here long after I did. So I'm good.
What do you think the legacy will be of this particular branch here within the city of Pasadena and Altadena?
I would say activism. I would say also advocacy, and what's most important, integrity.
Historically, the NAACP and police haven't always sat on the same side of the desk. But under your leadership, how are you kind of moving the needle that there's more cohesiveness between the two organizations?
Every topic socially is our topic. All of us. It's not one side or the other. So we may disagree on an issue, on a topic. The fact that we're disagreeing in a room and trying to find balance, that's the change. That's the change the rest of the country needs. Once Pasadena is leading this aggressive approach to being a better community, other cities around us will see that. So the fact that we could be in a room and talk about tough issues, I think is an achievement in itself.
there are sometimes issues that require you to roll up your sleeves to get in there, and you're going to have to fight for an outcome that you desire. The NAACP and the legacy of the people who have served and founded and organized over the years, over the decades, it's alive in the spirit of this organization, that sometimes you have to go into the trenches, you have to roll up your sleeves, and you have to make change happen.
They've been the voice for the community and the marginalized, those that haven't always necessarily had a voice at City Hall. Sometimes you have to have the community that represents the community, and that's what the NAACP is for a lot of people that are not prone to coming directly to City Hall.
Some of the battles that we are fighting today, we have worked ourselves out of a job. We hope that pay equity for women is no longer an issue. We hope that police brutality is no longer an issue. We also look forward to seeing more equity in terms of economic development, economic prosperity, and being able to see people really have access to build quality of life.
This is Miss Betty Jo Ford, and she is a totemic figure here in the city, a classically trained pianist. I do my research. In 100 years, Miss Ford, what will they say about you here in the city of Pasadena?
Well, I did it with my heart. I never let up, and I never stopped. Why stop a good thing? Amen.
Done. I'm flattered and honored to be part of this great event tonight and to help out the NAACP. So we're going to start the evening with a presentation of colors. Everybody please stand. Please stand, everybody. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Gary, colors. Right, face. Forward, march. Left, left, right, order, go.
So, please be seated. Now don't begin talking though, we're just getting started, okay? All right. Okay, I'm gonna introduce our MC. So he'll lead us through the evening. Danny Parker did such a great job last year, he's back. Danny is a Pasadena native who's a Stanford alum, who's fascinated by sports, old school R&B music and politics, as well as nutrition and health food. You know Danny's the right person to be an MC because he says, I love to talk, so why not occasionally with an audience? Ladies and gentlemen, Danny Parker.
Good evening, audience, and thank you everyone for coming.
This year we're going to do something a little different, a little new. We are going to have what we call an honoree stroll. And we are going to announce each honoree. We've asked that each honoree stand as Gary Moody, past NAACP president, introduces you. So again, we will have each honoree stand with a little bit of up-tempo flavor brought in, a little bit of an honoree intro.
Good evening. Tonight we have for you our Ruben McKnight Williams Award with Arzella Valentine Woods and Valentine Portuary. Arts Award, Floyd Norman. Community Award, Pablo Alvarado, Pasadena, Georgia. Dr. Yahya Abdul Rahman, author, founder of Muslim School. Youth Award, George Patton. So President's Award, Laura Farber, Tournament of Roses President. Corporate Award, Kaiser Permanente School of Medicine. Business Award, the Little Red Twin, Mark Shakes. Creative Culture Award, Edmund J.G. Hall. Creative Culture Award, Brian Decatur, Pasadena Japanese Cultural Center. Creative Culture Award, Rabbi Marvin Gross. Creative Culture Award, Reverend Herman Manning, Pasadena Church. John White Leadership Award, Joe Brown, Pasadena. These are our awardees this evening. Enjoy and have a great evening. Thank you very much.
Our first distinguished speaker this evening is the president of the Pasadena NAACP, Alan Edson. Please welcome him.
Thank you very much. You're all too kind. Tonight, the Pasadena branch of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People is celebrating our centennial in Pasadena at the 34th Annual Ruben McKnight Williams Awards Dinner. Thank you all for celebrating this historic achievement with us. There are so many people to thank for putting this event together. I first want to thank the RMW committee for their hard work in making this event happen and all of our honorees. I also want to have all the past presidents that are in the room stand. I know we've got Joe Brown, we've got Gary Moody, I hope you've all had the opportunity to check out the displays in the foyer. You like them? I want to give a personal thanks to Barbara Cox and her team from HQ for putting that together. And I also want to thank Avery Dennison Foundation for funding that. And for your information, the NAACP will be participating in Live on Green on December 29th, 30th, and 31st. We've got some literature we can pass out about that event. It's going to be a lot of fun. After you celebrate Christmas, you can do your thing down at Live on Green. I also want to thank Pasadena Media for filming this evening's event and for all you up-and-coming actors and actresses. This event will be televised on the Royal Channel at a later date. If you contact the office, I'll let you know. And I also want to give a special thanks to the Executive Director of Pasadena Media, George Falardo. Where's George? There he is. I was told that I have 3 minutes for my remarks. And I was told that whatever I do, my remarks have to be powerful. So with that said, I'm going to use the words of the Lord, the cherisher and sustainer of all the worlds, and the creator of all systems of knowledge. Tonight I want to talk about some highlights of the Pasadena branch over the past 100 years, what we're doing currently, and I also want to talk a little bit about faith, which has been the thread that ties this whole thing together. The question is, what is faith? Hebrews chapter 11 says, "Now faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the convictions of things not seen. Indeed, by faith, our ancestors received approval. By faith we understand that the worlds were prepared by the word of God, so that what is seen was made from things that are not visible. And without faith, it is impossible to please God. For whoever would approach him must believe that he exists, and that he rewards those who seek him." Diversity and inclusion have long been the hallmarks of the branch since its founding by John Wright, September 8th, 1919, before it was fashionable in all aspects of life in Pasadena. The branch led the court battle for the desegregation of the Brookside Plunge, where African Americans and other minorities could only swim on Wednesday, and the pool was drained immediately after the swim was over. The branch is also proud to say that we've had several women presidents. The branch has also been involved in selection of minorities for the Rose Parade, the Rose Queen and her court, and also the desegregation of the Pasadena Unified School District. When I talk about the NAACP, I must talk about my granddad. My granddad is William Dewey Edson. My grandfather is affectionately known in Pasadena as WD. My grandfather planted the seeds of the NAACP in me when I was a small child. My grandparents, and also my parents, had plans for me. Now, like most kids, I wasn't going that way. However, as our lives evolved and we matured to what we're supposed to be, here I am. And so I hope he's a proud man today. Upon his passing in 1971, Wanda Tucker of the Pasadena Star-News stated, "It was his interest in the city and his love for Pasadena which will be remembered, not the fact that his skin happened to be black." Granddad's legacy still lives on in Pasadena today. The W.D. Edson Neighborhood Improvement Association operates today in his Brenner Park neighborhood. I also have to speak a little bit about another family member, Uncle John Mance. Uncle John was a member of the National Board of Directors of the NAACP. Uncle John set me up with a job at Lockheed California Company in Burbank after I graduated from college. And in the vanity in me, I must say, I am a proud golden bear. My debt to Uncle John was that I had to become a member of the NAACP. I have been a member since 1976. So what are we up to lately? I tell my executive committee members all the time, and anyone that will listen, that the action word in our name is advancement. If we're not doing that, then we're not doing nothing. First, I must say something about the branch's civic engagement project for the 2020 election cycle. We have partnered with the Interdenominational Ministerial Alliance, IMA, and my new friend and brother, Reverend Larry Campbell.
There he is. We launched our partnership with the hosting of the Fannie Lou Henry story. POP, ACT, and the League of Women Voters supported us in this effort. Recently, the Pasadena Pasadena Links have joined our effort. There's room for all of you to become involved. As you all know, the turnout of black voters is important in determining the winners or losers in elections. The national election is receiving the most attention. We also have to pay attention to the local election happening here in Pasadena. Let's come together and flex our power in 2020. The city of Pasadena is what is called a startup community. The most famous startup community is Silicon Valley. The branch has partnered with Innovate Pasadena. We have been and continue hosting a walking tour. We call it a STEM crawl. Of startup companies located in Old Pasadena, with STEM students in middle school through community college, to expose young students to the opportunities that exist in the industry and open their eyes to the possibilities of their creativity. The STEM trial will take place October 18th as part of Innovate Pasadena Connect Week. This new movement is designed to facilitate innovation and creativity. Who more to be innovative or creative than African Americans? All we need is the education, the tools, and exposure to math, science, engineering, and math. The Pasadena branch is one of only 3 branches in Southern California with an office open 5 days a week, and is staffed completely by 100% volunteer staff. The branch sponsors the AXO Enrichment Program. That's the Afro-Academic, Cultural, Technical, and Scientific Olympics, designed to recruit, stimulate, improve, and encourage high academic and cultural achievement among high school students. Tonight in the audience we are honoring AXO 2019 silver medalist, Jordan Patton. Jordan is a student at John Marshall High School. And he will be honored with the Youth Award. The branch awards over $10,000 annually in scholarships to local high school graduates. And the branch is working with Heritage Housing Partners to identify and qualify buyers for the 45-unit affordable home ownership project at Lincoln and Orange Grove. If you know of anyone that's interested in buying a home, have them come to the office for more information. Being consistent with our 100-year theme, the branch is seeking 100 new members and 100 jobs. We are close to achieving the 100 jobs goal. Tonight is all about the celebration. And tomorrow, we will continue to fight for what is right and to be successful. We all need to come together in one powerful voice. And keeping with the kind of theme of this talk, keep the faith.
Thank you so much, Alan. And I think it's really important to acknowledge and recognize the importance of sharing the Pasadena NAACP history. It is important that we allow history to inform us, but not inflame us. It is important that we forgive, but not forget. We're going to go slightly off schedule. Dinner has been served a little bit earlier than planned, but this is an evening of celebration, not an evening of perfection. We are now going to have the invocation by Madeline Manning, the Reverend Madeline Manning.
Yay! I get to bless the food you've already eaten. Hallelujah. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we honor you. We honor your presence in this place. We also honor the work that you have done in the NAACP, 100 years of advancement, of activism, of courage and strength. And Lord, we just acknowledge you as the core force behind where we are right now. And Lord, we know that we need you. We need you as we move forward. For such a time as this, you've gathered all of us here together. And each one of us has a part in this work, this great work that you are doing, that you are advancing. So, Father, I just pray that each one of us would hear your voice and we would take up your strength, your courage, faith in you, Lord God, wisdom from you to advance your agenda, your vision for our city, for our community, Father. Thank you that you have so many diverse people to use. I pray, Lord, that we would be unified, that we would find common ground, and that you would get the glory, the honor, and the praise for what happens next. Bless this food, bless the food we've already eaten, bless this celebration, God. Just be pleased, be glorified. In Jesus' mighty name I pray. Amen. Amen.
Thank you so much, Reverend Manning. And I will make a request, perhaps futile, but if everyone could try to eat as quietly as they may be able to muster, a little bit quiet as possible, we'd really appreciate it. Our next speaker is the Honorable Terry Tornick, Mayor of Pasadena. He will bring greetings and recognition and thanks from the city of Pasadena.
Well, good evening. I think I'm going to say a prayer. It's the only way to quiet the place down. But I was telling Alan that the vibe in this room tonight is so positive, it's so affirmative. Maria and I get to go to a lot of events, and this is one where people really want to be here. And it really is, you can just sense the positive vibe. There are so many people that know each other and such old friends. For me, it's a pleasure because I get to see some people that I don't get to see all the time, some people that I get to see too much. But the fact that my wife Maria is with me, and the fact that my son Joshua is here, he is the teacher at Marshall of the award-winning student tonight. But this is a very important occasion. Pasadena has, as you know, 1,100 nonprofit organizations and community-based organizations and faith-based organizations. And those organizations are what really do a lot of the heavy lifting for things that need to be done in the city. But for an organization to be able to survive for 100 years, to remain relevant, and to be able to accomplish that intergenerational handoff from one generation to another is really extraordinary. And what I would say about the NAACP is that this is an organization whose mission is very much alive, that is very relevant, and who we need in Pasadena very much. And so I congratulate the NAACP on behalf of the Pasadena City Council. We're delighted to have you as partners in making progress in our city, and we congratulate you on this momentous occasion. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mayor Tornick. I am honored and humbled to be a part of this milestone occasion as the Pasadena NAACP celebrates 100 years strong and 100 years fighting wrong. When an organization reaches 100, it must be doing something right, something well, and something important. Like all organizations who make a difference, a key source of strength for the Pasadena NAACP has been an amazing group of dedicated volunteers. You previously met the president of the local organization. I would ask briefly that all of the officers of the chapter please briefly stand and receive a well-deserved round of applause. Also like the committee that put together this wonderful dinner to also stand briefly and receive another well-deserved round of applause. And one person should have remained standing, our fearless leader and co-chairperson, Juanita West Tillman. And for anyone keeping score at home, you should know she was working at the office until 1 a.m. this morning, so applause is truly in order. I also would like to thank the elected and appointed officials who have extended their already long day to be with us this evening. We have a number of dignitaries in the room this evening, and we will start that with a number of proclamations from some of the wonderful officials here with us tonight. Starting with Congresswoman Judy Chu. And I would ask Congresswoman Chu has a proclamation, so if you would please come to the podium, and we will have a couple of other brief proclamations.
Well, congratulations, Pasadena NAACP, on 100 incredible years. I am just so proud of you, and congratulations, President Alan Edson, for having this incredible gala that honors the 100 years of work that this organization has done to bring about civil rights and equality. You've played such a huge role in the desegregation of the Pasadena schools. You have fundamentally changed Pasadena for the better, and I thank you for the most profound work that you've done to make sure that everybody can feel equal in this community. And so I thank you for that. Let me just say a few words about back in Washington, D.C., what's going on. Let me just tell you, despite this person who is trying to bring us backwards in civil rights in so many ways and is dividing the country, we, the people, will not let that happen. And I'm so proud because I get to work in Congress every day with some incredible people. In fact, as chair of the Congressional Asian Pacific Caucus, I get to work with a Congressional Black Caucus and the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, and together we call ourselves a Congressional Tri-Caucus. And in fact, guess what? We now make up over half of the entire Democratic caucus in Congress. And so we are not giving up. Together, we are fighting to restore our voting rights, the voting rights law that icons like John Lewis fought so hard for as he went across the Edmund Pettus Bridge. When the Supreme Court struck down parts of that law, that set us back, and we passed a law, first thing this year, H.R. 1, to restore the Voting Rights Act. And together, we're making sure that students of color get on the path of success by supporting minority-serving institutions like the historically black colleges and universities. But you know what? A terrible thing was allowed to happen, and that is just a few days ago on September 30th, the crucial mandatory funding for it was allowed to expire. So we passed a bill called the Future Act to restore that funding. But unfortunately, both the Voting Rights Bill and the Minority Serving Institutions Bill are stuck in that Mitch McConnell Senate. So we are not going to let up until we make sure those bills pass. And yes. And lastly, let me just say I'm so excited to tell all of you, for 7 years I've been fighting to get a veterans health care clinic here in the San Gabriel Valley. Yes, thank you. 45,000 veterans are served in this area but did not have a veterans health care clinic to go to. And so I've been pushing the Veterans Administration all this time to do it. And finally, in August, we cut the ribbon to open the Veterans Healthcare Clinic right here in the San Gabriel Valley. It is truly close to Pasadena. It's in Arcadia on Foothill and Santa Anita, and it is a full-service clinic that already has everything from primary care to telehealth to basic laboratory services. So I hope you can tell all the veterans in your life that it is there, that it is a resource, and that it is there to serve them. So thank you for inviting me here today. Congratulations on 100 incredible years. I brought certificates of congressional commendation for all of our outstanding nominees, and if I may present them to President Alan Edson so that he will present them to them later on. Thank you for doing that, and congratulations to y'all on the
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Congresswoman Chu. Our next presenter, the proclamation, will be Teresa Lamb, representing Congressman Adam Schiff. You may have seen his name in the news recently, somewhere along the way, intelligence related or otherwise.
Good evening. It's a real pleasure to be here tonight on behalf of Congressman Adam Schiff. I feel like I'm home. On August 27th, Congressman Schiff entered a tribute to the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, Pasadena branch, into the congressional record. I would like to congratulate the NAACP Pasadena branch upon its centennial anniversary. Established on September 8, 1919, this branch was founded with the mission of serving as the voice of all people denied basic human dignities, especially African American residents in Pasadena. Historically, the National NAACP has proven itself as the country's premier civil rights organization, and locally, this branch followed the national organization's course of action by petitioning for school and municipal employment, home ownership, access to public swimming pools for African Americans, and a more inclusive public school system. Today, the Pasadena branch continues its commitment to racial justice and equality through community engagement, partnering with local organizations to find solutions for issues such as affordable housing, a livable minimum wage, and law enforcement matters. The branch also organizes events and provides scholarships to inspire and prepare the next generation of leaders and activists. Congressman Schiff is honored to recognize the Pasadena NAACP for a century of outstanding service to the community and for its commitment to eliminating racial barriers. Mr. Edson, on behalf of Congressman Schiff, will you please accept this congressional record statement? Thank you. Thank you. Oh.
Thank you so much, Teresa. Our next proclamation will come from California State Senator Anthony Portantino.
Good evening, everyone. How's everybody doing? You know, I gotta say, this audience looks really good at 100. Outstanding. I'm just honored to be your state senator. I gotta give a shout out to Mrs. Juanita Devon over there. Let's give it up. Because folks make a difference in this room. You know, I just get to be the state senator. But folks in this room make things happen, whether it's the Black Male Forum, and Gary Moody 20 years ago invited me to come speak and learn about what he was pushing and the struggles, or Joe Brown, who gave me a piece of his mind when I first showed up 20 years ago, or Joe Hopkins, who said, find a good fight and get in it. Folks in this room have done so many things to make our community better, safer, prouder, and thriving. And so on behalf of the California State Senate, I had a proclamation created. I'm not going to read all the whereases because y'all know what you do and y'all do it proudly. So I just want to say congratulations and God bless the Pasadena NAACP on its 100th anniversary, and I'm just honored to be here to present this.
Thank you, Senator Portantino. Our final proclamation is from Los Angeles County Supervisor Catherine Barger. Please welcome her to the podium.
That was the shortest speech Anthony's ever given. I haven't finished dinner yet, Anthony. What happened? Happy 100th birthday to the NAACP. It truly is an honor for me to represent Pasadena and the entire NAACP group. And we had you down to the board 2 weeks ago and honored you in front of my colleagues. And when I read the accomplishments, my colleagues were completely in awe. And when we talked about what you're doing, especially in the work you do for education in the schools, you are making a difference. And as I take over chair in December, my goal is to make our youth our priority and invest in them. And I look forward to working with you all to expand on those scholarships. And Juanita, Christian tells me that you're hardworking, so I'm going to put you to work. We're going to do it together. But all kidding aside, I would just like to say thank you for what you do. You've done a lot in 100 years, but I can tell you based on what Congresswoman Chu has said, we've got a lot more work to do. And I tell you all that your vote is powerful. Do not forget that. Make sure you know that when you cast that ballot, you are using your voice to say change is needed. So with that, I'd like to present this scroll to you on behalf of the 10 million residents of Los Angeles County, recognizing the incredible work of the NAACP Pasadena 1054 Centennial Celebration. Long may you live and long may you stay. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Supervisor Barger. I made a false promise. We have one more brief proclamation. Anne Marie, are you in the room to step up on behalf of Assemblymember Chris Holden was here earlier. He had another commitment, so we have someone to present a proclamation on his behalf. Anne Marie Hickenbotham.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the NAACP dinner. Please visit the silent auction, which I also had to have with the NAACP and put that together. But right now I'm here on behalf of my boss, Assemblymember Chris Holden, and as Danny Parker pointed out, he was here earlier, and I believe he probably gave personal greetings to almost everyone in this room because he was just standing there shaking hands and hugging people. And he was very pleased to be here, but had to go on. We add our congratulations to the Pasadena NAACP for the 100 years of service that it has given to the community, for the advancement of colored people, and actually for the advancement of all people, because the civil rights that it fights for and that we work so hard for benefits the entire community. And so on behalf of Assemblymember Holden, we present this certificate. Congratulations on the 100th anniversary of the NAACP Pasadena. Thank you for fighting for political, educational, social, and economic equality in order to eliminate race-based discrimination and ensure the health and well-being of all persons. Cordially, Assemblymember Chris Holden. Thank you. Michael. I think you just
Thank you so much, Anne Marie. In addition to the elected officials from whom we've heard so far, we have many additional elected officials here with us today, and we'd like to briefly acknowledge them. Representing Pasadena City Council District Number 5, we have Victor Gordo. I believe I saw Tyrone Hampton representing Council District 1. We have representing, in addition, we have some city appointed officials. We have Pasadena City Attorney in red, Michelle Bonaris. At the same table, Pasadena City Manager Steve Mermel. We also have Pasadena City Council member Jean Masuda. We have Duarte City Council member John Fasana. We have Berlinda Brown, PCC Board of Trustees. We have from the PCC Board of Trustees, Sandra Chin Lau. Also from the PCC Board of Trustees, Linda Ball, and I apologize on the pronunciation that I did not do justice. We have Hoyt Hilsman from the PCC Board of Trustees also. And we have Larry Spicer, Mayor Pro Tem of Monrovia. And again, we're most appreciative, and if there are any other elected officials whom I missed, please let me know. Is Mayor Butts from Inglewood still here? Oh! Among many other distinctions, the soon-to-be new home of the Los Angeles Rams and the Los Angeles Chargers. And maybe the Clippers.
Senator District.
Okay. We also have Giselle Sorial, the District Director for Senator Rubio. Anyone else? Oh, is he here? Okay. We also have the Chief of Police, John Perez. We have Fire Chief Bertrell Washington, quite a good basketball player, I should add. And anyone else? I think we've covered them all. I have one more brief acknowledgement that's a little bit off script, but I think it's something important and I feel obligated to briefly share with you. Last year, as we were scrambling to put together the music for this event, we had a young man come through. He had 24-hour notice and he showed up, and in addition to volunteering with such little lead time, the day of the event, I sounded a bit confused and a whole lot of pitiful, and it's not a stretch. And he volunteered the day of to come here and handle the music for us. This year, once again, we were scrambling a bit, and he came through as we were juggling multiple moving parts, and I just want to thank him for giving us one less bell to answer. The name of the gentleman in the back in the hat over there is Edward Bullard. He owns Backpack. What Backpack does, it's a DJ booking app that connects people and organizations with DJs throughout Southern California. So again, Edward, my profound appreciation and gratitude for coming through in a time of need. Thank you. The often cited phrase, "May we live in interesting times," certainly resonates right now. We seem to receive daily, unsolicited civics lessons as we learn about the Emoluments Clause, the Hatch Act, separation of powers, the rule of law, and the procedures and protocol of impeachment. Against that backdrop, I have been thinking about how to do justice to the historic and enduring legacy of the NAACP. The phrase that comes to mind that seems to encapsulate the core DNA of the NAACP is a safekeeper of our democracy. For 100 years locally and 110 years nationally, the NAACP has led and fought the battles that speak to the essence of what a true democracy is and should be. The NAACP has held a mirror in front of the conscience of America and pointedly asked, do you like what you see? Can you justify what you see? As the Pasadena NAACP reaches the historic 100-year mark of its pursuit of equal rights for all, the often asked long journey question comes to mind. Are we there yet? Unfortunately, no. While we celebrate the glass half full progress made over the last 100 years, we must also recognize the sobering, glass half empty counterpoint that equal rights are simply not yet a reality for everyone. Our society remains plagued by isms and phobias. That reality speaks to the ongoing need and relevance of the NAACP and its 100 years of strength. That historic strength is vitally needed as we find our democracy under assault. In exchange for billionaire-skewed tax cuts and judges determined to destroy voting rights and reproductive rights, large segments of our society willingly look the other way as children are separated from their parents, as foreigners interfere with our elections, and as our planet rapidly hurtles towards becoming uninhabitable. Surely our democracy deserves better than mercenary morality. These are not Republican issues. These are not Democratic issues. These are not liberal problems. These are not conservative problems. These are human issues and human problems. Our choice is simple. Either we work together as one human community that extends kindness, compassion, and dignity to all, or we all perish together, regardless of ideology. Lastly, I would like to share a bit of increasingly topical musical history. It is from the eighth wonder of the world, Stevie. On August 7th, 1974, Stevie Wonder released the #1 pop hit and #1 soul hit, You Haven't Done Nothing, which was a blistering critique of the brazen corruption of the Nixon administration. 2 days later, on August 9th, 1974, President Nixon resigned. Stevie, if you're listening, it might be time for another song. We will now have a video rendition of Lift Every Voice and Sing. And as our resident DJ cues it up, I would ask that everyone please stand for the playing of Lift Every Voice and Sing. Please be seated. We are now going to take a brief 5-minute break before we continue with the program. We're doing something new and special in connection with this 100th anniversary that we will do after a quick 5-minute break. So finish your meals, be noisy, circulate, socialize, and we'll come back. We are about to move into the honoree portion of our evening, and we have something special in conjunction in honor of the fact that this is the 100th anniversary of the Pasadena NAACP. As a preface to that, I'd like to offer the following. An essential element of the human spirit is the ability to dream, to have hopes for a brighter tomorrow. That spirit is best captured in the time-honored question frequently asked of young children: what do you want to be when you grow up? For a black child born in 1919, the time of the founding of the Pasadena NAACP or earlier, what could he or she realistically dream? What hopes could he or she have for a brighter tomorrow? This evening, we are quite honored to have insights regarding these questions and other perspectives from 3 centenarians who share their untold stories of their amazing lives that span that of the Pasadena NAACP. And we will begin this with a video, brief 6-minute video that again will provide you some insights of some incredible stories of some amazing lives.
I'm 100 years old, was born in Waukesha, Louisiana.
When you came to Pasadena, where did you live?
On Valley Boulevard.
You have the Ruby McKnight benefit
Yeah.
that's coming up because we're honoring her and all the work she did. Did you know Dr. Edna Griffin?
Who?
Dr. Edna Griffin.
Sure did.
Tell us about her.
Dr. Boland lived right down on the corner.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And Dr. Edna Griffin lived down a little farther. I knew her well. They were my doctors.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And she helped make the NAACP, Dr. Griffin?
Yeah.
And
President Obama. I was blessed my soul. There was President coming in the room, came in there and shook my hand and wanted to know how I was. Shook me twice going in and coming out.
Whoa.
You can imagine how I felt. I couldn't help but cry.
And I was born in Monroe, Louisiana, came to California in 1942 and started to work the Monday after I got here and worked at Lockheed Aircraft for 25 years. I retired and I've been living a free life ever since. My kids grew up in Pasadena. They went to Washington Elementary and from there to John Muir. And that's where they graduated from. I think more or less when I came to Pasadena, it was a lot more of prejudices going on because I went to a restaurant in 1942 and was told to go around to the back
question I wanted to be served, but I walked to the high school, which was probably about a half hour or more walk every morning. And of course, we had a principal who kept a rolled up belt in his pocket. And if you weren't there at a certain time, he would whip you with that belt. Now that would be high school principal. So we were at school early in the morning, and I finished high school in 1942 and went to Grambling, and I was there, it was 2 years then.
How old are you this year?
101.
My dad, he wasn't in Topeka at the time of Brown versus Board of Education. He was teaching in Tucson, Arizona. He had gotten a job there with, as a teacher with the Dunbar School, which was a segregated school in Tucson, Arizona, which was eventually desegregated around 1953. So, but he was very active in the NAACP when he was in Tucson. He was one of their officers there. I remember times when we would go walk with the placards and protests and things like that. And so, yeah, he was very involved with NAACP at that time. What is your advice for young people today?
Take care of your health when you're younger.
To sort of settle down, try to get out in the world too soon.